and welcome to day 10 of Vlogmas. So we've got another wet day today. I've been out and seen to the chickens. I have let them out into the garden today because yesterday, because of going out and getting home in the dark, I'm going to shut them up. I thought I'll just keep them in their pen, but today I've let them out. But yeah, I think they'll just go in their coop. So I'm not feeling brilliant today. I am hurting. So I've really got to rest up, ready for tomorrow when we go into town and get the rest of what I need for prezzies. So, and also I forgot to do the Cadbury Advent last night. So apologies for that. So we'll do that out the way now. And I'll do today's as well out the way. So let's get on with Advent. Okay, so here's number 9. Ooh, something different. We've got buttons. Oh, look at Father Christmas. Oh. Oh. Oops. Oh, look at that. That's cute. Okay, so that's number 9. Here's number 10. Oh, things are looking up. Oh, I love this dairy milk. Oh, yum, yum. Okay, so we'll have that later. So there we go. So there's the jigsaw from yesterday. This was a little bit difficult to do because I'm linking with that and I'm linking with that one as well. But we got there in the end. There it is. So number 10. There we go. And number 10. Oh, look. That is a cute one as well. Okay, so that's later. So let's do Burr Street. Number 10. Look at this. I've got to show you this. Look at this. Ooh. This is going to be a really lovely blanket. Really lovely. So look at that. So we're going from these then into this. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so Fig. What we got today, Fig? Number 10. Look it come away. Let's see if I can fill the paper first. Yep, okay. Wrapping paper for Teddy's presents. This fits best in his tote bag. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, look. Oh, that is so cute. Oh, Fig, what beautiful Christmas paper. Okay, so let's try and get it in his tote bag. So there it is. I think that's how we'd carry it, isn't it? Look. So, got to get those presents and get wrapping, Fig. We're going to be busy. I can't believe there's only 2 more days and then it's ended this Advent. I've just really enjoyed it. I really have. So lovely. Okay, onto my mum's tree where we've got the Peter Rabbit Advent, and I can see 10 already. There we are. My hands are not good today, but it'll be worth it once we get in here. Oh, look. Presents. Oh, oh. There we go. Oh, look. Now, I think the presents should go over here because Mrs. Teawinkle is a very sensible little mum, and these 2 characters here won't have anyone mess about with those presents, so I think they'll look after them. So first of all, I apologise if you hear the washing machine, but I want to show you this. I've known this lovely lady for many years, where we work together, and even though we don't see a lot of each other, we are still there for each other through lots of things we've been, and she's always there for me and I'm always there for her. But this was, what was it, Friday? Yes, Friday. Postie, I'd woken up because of Postie ringing the ring, and he delivered this. It was from her. It was a Bloom and Wild, so the tree was in a bag, and then you have the little fabric pot. This is just where I've been putting it in. I've tried to brush it off. It might brush off now it's dry. And then you have some moss to go around here, and you get the lights. But how lovely is that? I mean, you get I got this lovely card of it, but she's already sent me a beautiful card. But what a beautiful gift. And I've wanted one of these for quite a few years, but I just couldn't do it because of the money. But bless her heart, how lovely is that? So this is the poinsettia I got yesterday, but look at this. It was the only one with this colour. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at the little ones in there. And I got this one from the farm shop, cyclamen, which I was determined to get this year. Look at the little one there. Beautiful. And Abby bought me a little bunch of mistletoe, so I put that in some water. I've had this little bottle for years, but yeah, I thought, do you know what, put it in some water. So there it is. Okay, so as I said, I'm resting as much as I can. One thing I wanted to say about, do you remember that hand cream I said about that Abby got me? I've been using it every time I've washed my hands. I've been applying it to my fingertips and the side of my fingers and thumb, and look at the improvement. I mean, I'm not sponsoring this, but I really highly recommend it, especially if you're a cross stitcher and you get sore fingertips and that. It's really good, really good. Even Abby's going to buy a pot because her hands, and even Mila Moo, even though she wears woolly mittens, she gets really sore knuckles and that, so highly recommend. So I'm going to do a bit more of Gracie, I've done her belly. Oh, hang on. That's all there. And I did put a little bit more stuffing in the head, so that's enough now, because I've got to turn this over and I put it to the top of the body. It won't be today. I've got to get the arms and legs done first, and I want to do some appliquing on the apron, and if I've got chance I want to get some of the Margaret Beatty done. As for the Latvian mittens, the needles, I think they're due to come tomorrow. Yeah, I think they're due to come tomorrow. So I'm so excited I just want to get that casted on. I'm just so excited to start them. So that's it. So I will see you later for our story. My throat's a little bit still, but it's more copable than yesterday. So we'll see how it is later, because I'm obviously not talking to anybody except my fur babies. So yeah, that'll help rest in that as well. So I'll see you later. Hello again. So I'm quite impressed with what I've done today. Let me show you. May not look a lot, but I've got to stitch it, applique it on. So the snow is on the tree. Let's show you the picture. So it's literally like a little running stitch around there. And I've got to complete going around doing the blanket stitch around the house. So I should do, ow, oh, ow, 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 ow. I should do that a bit later. Gracie the Frog. Find the book. So you stitch down the part of the leg and a little bit on the other side of the front of the leg, and then you stitch the base part of her foot on. So managed to get one done, and these bits you do a back stitch, and there it is. So now I've got to stuff it, making sure I go right into those little toes, and then I shall do a little bit of stitching, stuff it, and that's the way I'll do it. And then you just leave a gap for the stuffing and then sewing it up. So yeah, it's there. And I've just got out the Margaret Beatty. Oh, I'm just so happy that I've actually got her out. So I'll show you the book. I got this from Hands Across the Sea. And they all are. Let's just take the chart off. I've literally just done the start of the M. As you can see there. I love the linen too. Look at that. makes it look so vintage, doesn't it? Antique. Really lovely. Come on, cat, you've got room. So after this, I'm going to do a bit more of that. And I've got to go up and wrap 2 presents. So I want to keep up with it because whatever I get tomorrow. And then that's it. And I'll just hopefully get all the wrapping finished this week coming, which would be good. I'll leave that up there because I'm going to do it. And I've remembered I need to fill in to put the Margaret Beatty in there, so I should do that. Come on, it's okay, come on in. Good girl, good girl. Oh, you're gonna say hello, Kant? Good girl. Good girl. Okay, do you want to sit on there for a minute? Right, so before I get into the reading, ooh, I just want to do the reminder on the giveaway. So these are from the lovely Pauline Sobey bags. She wanted to give me something to do as a giveaway, and she made 2 bags better. Thank you so much, Pauline. Really lovely of you. Really, really lovely. So the names will be pulled. Ooh, the names will be pulled on New Year's Eve, and I will give the names to the people that won on New Year's Day. So it's a good start to the year, isn't it? So the first bag is this one. So pretty, really is. And this is the fabric inside. Look at that. I would love this as wallpaper in the bedroom. How nice would that be? Not for some, but I would. So if you would like to try and win this, put in the sentence forest. And the second one is this lovely project bag. This has got squirrels on. And I think this would be ideal for a sock and maybe a shawl. So this has got a brown lining in it. As you can see, it's a drawstring. So the word for this is squirrels. So in the sentence, put squirrels. Please don't put prize or giveaway. And you have to be a subscriber. So yeah, I want to show it again, and I will show it again maybe the week before Christmas. Just so you still get a chance. Anybody new that subscribed, you've got a chance too. So that's that. I wanted to do that again. I have a fruit tea. I've got Eddie here, Wally behind me, and the 2 girlies here. Right, let's find the book. Christmas at Fairacre by Miss Reed. So the reminder is Miriam Quinn was hoping to do decorating when she broke up for Christmas. And then she had a call from her brother, who's a vicar, and his wife had ended up in hospital. So he asked if she would go. They live in Norfolk and look after the children. They've got 3 children and do the cooking, all that sort of thing. So she's put everything down and she's on her way to their house. And we're on chapter 5. I'm just going to try and see my other glass if it's better. That is a lot better. Okay. She broke her journey at Cambridge, partly because the place was full of happy memories of her own and Lovell's youth, and more practically because she knew exactly where to go shopping. She was lucky to find a parking space outside Queen's here. At a May week ball long ago, she had met Martin Farrer, a friend of Lovell's, and enjoyed a few weeks' mild flirtation with the handsome boy. Where was he now, she wondered? Farming somewhere in a nearby county, she seemed to remember Lovell saying one day, and happily married. It was biting cold, despite the sunshine. The slow-moving cam was dappled with the last yellow leaves of autumn, and a vicious little wind stirred the dust along the silver street. She bought fruit, bacon and sausages, enough to provide a supper and a breakfast to give her time to check the provisions on Eileen's store cupboard. She also bought a bottle of sherry for Lovell and flowers for the invalid, and at the last minute dived into a shabby toy shop for crowns and balloons. Thus armed, she returned to the car and, having deposited her purchases, decided to treat herself to a splendid lunch at the Garden House Hotel nearby. She was on her way again, much fortified within the hour. As always, the miles seemed longer than ever after Newmarket, as the wide heathlands stretched away into the distance, and the well-known East Anglian wind scored the countryside. It was almost dark by the time she arrived at the vicarage. No one answered the bell, which she pressed hopefully at the front door, so she pushed it open to be greeted by the pungent smell of burning. The wide hall ran from front door to a glass one at the back. Through it, Miriam could see the shabby overgrown garden backed by a lowering sky. Light spilled from a side door into the hall, and she could hear children laughing. Obviously, all the activity was centred in the kitchen. There she is. Anyone home? She called, advancing, her heels clicking on the black and white marble tiles. Not even a rush mat, thought Miss Quinn, to mitigate the piercing cold to one's feet. There were screams of excitement as two little girls tumbled through the door and rushed upon her. Auntie Miriam, you've come! We thought you'd be here when we gone to bed. Two pairs of sticky hands caressed her new Welsh tweed suit lovingly. She bent to kiss the children. The extraordinary smell seemed to envelope them. We're making toffee, said Hazel importantly. Only it's a bit caught, added Jenny. Come and see. She followed them into the kitchen. Hazel, the 9-year-old, led her to the electric stove. Jenny, 2 years younger, indicated the saucepan, and Miriam's heart plummeted. A tar-like substance coated one of the open element electric plates and made rivulets down the once white front of the stove. The residue gleamed malevolently from the bottom of the buckled saucepan, and that was one utensil, thought Miriam, which would have to be replaced. Where's the toffee? She inquired. It's here, you see. But we just ran out into the garden to tell Daddy the telephone was ringing, and it all went sort of fizzy and buzzled all over the stove. That's right, corroborated Jenny, licking a sticky finger. It tastes funny, but it's set, hasn't it? It certainly has, said Miriam with distaste. Put it in the sink to soak. But it's toffee, wailed Jenny, sensing adult disapproval. We can eat it. There's a pound of sugar in it. There's a pound of sugar, agreed Miriam, but it's mostly over the stove. Cheer up, I'll make you some fudge instead, but where's Daddy? He went to find Robin. He's in the garden somewhere. We'll show you. She followed their prancing fingers into the dusky garden, but Both children were dark-haired like their father, but she could not believe that she and Lovell had ever been quite so thin. Did Eileen feed them properly, or were they allowed to leave food if they were too impatient to eat it? Time would tell. In any case, they were not lacking in energy. They hopped and skipped ahead of her, leaping over brambles and tussocks of grass that must once have been a lawn in more spacious days. "She's come, Daddy! She's come!" screamed the little girls, and out from behind a hedge came Lovell, holding his youngest in his arms. "You dear girl," he cried, depositing Robin at his feet. He put his arms around Miriam in a bear hug. They had never been demonstrative, I don't know what it is. And this welcoming embrace made all the irritations of the journey drop away. His face was cold, his hair rough, and smelling of all outdoors, a wintry, bruised grass, autumn bonfire smell, as different from the acrid scent of burning which had greeted her as sea mist is from Midland fog. In that instant, she was transported back to their shared childhood, when together they climbed trees or rolled, screaming with delight, down a grassy slope in the vicarage garden. Sudden tears pricked her eyes, and Lovell, holding her now at arm's length, said, "You look cold. Come inside." The two little girls bounced ahead, but Robin held up his arms to be carried. Miriam watched Lovell hoist him up aloft again, and thought how like his mother the young boy looked. He had the same fair hair and blue eyes, the wide brow and pointed chin which gave Eileen her childlike hair. She held out a hand to him, but he turned away from her, burying his face in his father's neck. That's no way to welcome an aunt," chided Lovell. "Why, she's going to be the angel in the house, if only you knew it." "Wait and see," laughed Miriam, following her brother indoors. It seemed to Miriam, as she surveyed the sitting room where most of the family activities went on, that a strong charwoman rather than an angel was needed in the place. Toys littered the table, the chairs and the carpet. Copper, the aging cocker spaniel, was curled up on the rumpled cover of the couch in front of the fire. A log had rolled off and lay mouldering in the hearth, filling the room with pungent smoke. A glass vase containing 6 dead chrysanthemums and an inch of dark green slime decorated the mantelpiece, with a half-eaten banana beside it. Lovell, dropping Robin beside the spaniel, caught sight of his sister's face and laughed. "Ghastly, isn't it? We had a sort of scratch lunch, and that banana is Robin's contribution." "Well," said Miriam, trying to sound briskly cheerful, "that can soon be put right." "What's happened to Annie?" Annie was a young girl from the village who came for a couple of hours or so in the late afternoon each day to help Eileen with the children's tea and bath time. "She's off over Christmas," explained Lovell. "The family has gone to Ely to stay with the grandmother, but she'll be back on Monday, I hope." Miriam hoped so too. She begged to remove a grubby handkerchief from Robin's grass. He was busy wiping Copper's nose, and the dog resented it. The child set up an ear-splitting wail, and the two little girls rushed to comfort him. Miriam hastily returned the handkerchief, and the wailing ceased as the siren had been switched off. "Perhaps I'd better take up my case," she said to Lovell, "and then I will cook a meal for us all." "Goody, goody," shouted Hazel. "Gumdrops," yelled Jenny. "That's what we say. Goody, goody gumdrops." Do you say that? Do you say goody, goody gumdrops when you're pleased?" "We do, don't we, Hazel? We always say goody, goody." "Not now, you don't," said Lovell firmly. "Let Aunt Miriam have a few minutes' peace. Shall I take you up?" No, replied Miriam hastily. "I expect I'm in the usual room, aren't I?" "I'll come with you," said Jenny. "No, let me," said Hazel. "Only one," bellowed Lovell above the din. You show Aunt Miriam to her room, Hazel, and then come down again. We'll set the table in the kitchen. Miriam deposited her basket of groceries on the kitchen dresser, averting her eyes from the appalling state of the cooker. Hazel was swinging on the newel post at the foot of the stairs, her dark hair flying behind her. Daddy's going to see Mummy this evening, she announced, prancing up the stairs in front of Miriam. Can I go too? With a shock, Miriam realised she had forgotten to ask after the mistress of the house in the turmoil of her arrival. We must ask Daddy, she said diplomatically. The hospital staff may not want too many visitors all at once. But why not? I bet my mummy would like to see me. And I could tell her about the toffee we made and having bread and butter for lunch. Bread and peanut butter for lunch today. By now they had traversed the long passage over the hall, and Hazel flung open the door of the spare room. The light switch failed to work. Miriam set down her heavy case and groped her way to a bedside table, where she remembered that her reading lamp stood. Mercifully, it worked. Obviously, the main light needed a new bulb. She must see about that later on. The room was cold and musty, and it was apparent that neither of the twin beds was made up. Lumpy rectangles composed of folded blankets showed through the candlewick bedspreads. She must face that job as soon as the children were in bed and put in a hot water bottle, if she were to escape pneumonia in this chilly Norfolk climate. She had a strong suspicion that this room had not been used since her last visit in the early summer. Shall I help you unpack? Inquired Hazel, eyeing the case hopefully. No, I'll do it later. You run downstairs and help Daddy. I'm just coming. She hung up her coat on a peg on the back of the door. There was no Kohanna to be seen in the clothes cupboard. What a house, thought Miriam. A vision of her own neat domain floated before her, and she had to wrench her mind to the other matters to overcome the sudden flood of depression which engulfed her. The bathroom was next door, chillier even than her room. The bath was grimy, the wash basin was worse, and had what looked like a used medical plaster recently stripped from someone's damaged finger, stuck to a cracked piece of soap. Miriam gingerly picked up this revolting amalgam and dropped it into an ancient enamel slop pail, which seemed to do service as a waste paper basket. Luckily, the bath rat provided her with a large tablet of Lifebuoy soap, and she was grateful for its disinfecting properties. She unpacked a clean overall, which she had prudently brought with her, and descended the stairs. Lovell was slicing bread at the dresser, and Robin was sitting on the floor at his feet, eating the crumbs that fell. Is it tea or supper? Asked Jenny. Miriam looked at Lovell. As they had so light a lunch, she said, what about my cooking eggs and bacon for you? And sausages, if you like. Do they have a meal like that before bedtime? Oh, yes. We always have something like that, don't we? Their faces were rapturous. It was quite plain that they were hungry. Lovell found her the frying pan, which was surprisingly clean, and she set about unpacking and cooking the provisions she had brought with her. Lovell, unasked, opened an enormous tin of baked beans, and within 20 minutes, Miriam's first meal was on the table. There had been little culinary art in providing it, and still less finesse in presenting it, straight from the pan to the waiting plates. But the children's evident relish as they demolished the meal gave her infinite satisfaction. Now she found time to make amends and inquire after the patient. I'll know more when I've seen her this evening, said Lovell. I'll help you to put this mob to bed and drive over to the hospital. You won't mind being left? Of course not. I'll go tomorrow to see her. At the moment she is under observation. I gather she's on a pretty strict diet and having tests. If that doesn't have any result, then they'll think of surgery. What surgery? Asked Hazel. It's cutting people up, explained Jenny kindly. like making chops at the butcher's. At this point, Robin turned his mug upside down on the tablecloth and watched the milk creep towards the edge. "He always does that when he's finished," said Jenny indulgently. "Isn't he a funny boy?" Miriam rose to fetch a dishcloth and began to mop up the mess. Only Lovell's presence restrained her from giving a sharp reprimand to the drowsy Robin, who now leant back sucking his thumb. The little girls watched her efforts with interest. "We bathed Copper with that cloth this afternoon. He was smelly, so we squeezed it out in soapy water and gave him a lovely wash." Miriam stopped her labours abruptly and transferred the cloth to a battered tidy bin beneath the sink. At this rate, she thought, a packet of J-cloths might take priority on tomorrow's shopping list. "We'll wash up," said Lovell, rising to his feet, "and I think Robin's ready for bed, if you could cope with him." At this, the comatose boy became instantly alert and shook his head violently. "No, Dada do," he yelled, scarlet in the face. I think you better tonight," said Miriam swiftly. "He'll be more obliging when he knows me. We'll clear up here." The two males vanished, and Miriam and the girls set about making orders out of chaos. There seemed to be a dearth of tea cloths and a decidedly vague idea of where they were kept. "They just hang about," said Hazel, "on the back of that chair usually. I mean the clean ones," said Miriam, her voice sharp with exasperation. "I think they're in this drawer," said Jenny, struggling with an overfull dresser drawer stuffed with jam pot covers, pieces of string, two soup ladles, and what looked like a colander. A few pieces of tattered cloth were intermingled with debris. After close inspection, proved to be extremely ancient tea cloths. "Aren't you getting excited about Christmas?" inquired Jenny, patting a spoon with one of the tattered rags as a contribution to wiping the cutlery. I am. I've asked Father Christmas for a painting set, lots of different pots and brushes." "I hope you'll get them," said Miriam civilly. "Oh, she'll get them," announced Hazel in a meaningful way. "But whether Father Christmas will bring them, I don't know." Jenny's face became suffused with angry colour. "Of course he'll bring them. My letter to him went straight up the chimney. Yours fell back and got burnt up, and serve you right." Now, said Miriam warningly. Really, she thought, I sound just like my mother. How stupid now sounded. Almost as idiotic as "now then," a phrase which could bring on partial madness if considered for too long. It was quite apparent that Hazel was wide to the myth of Santa Claus, whilst her sister was still touchingly a believer in that Christmas fairy. She must try and get a quiet word with the older child before too much damage was done. Lovell reappeared as they were finishing. He looked exhausted, and Miriam's heart was smitten. "Go and sit by the fire, and I'll bring you some coffee," she said. "You don't need to set off immediately, do you?" "Visiting hours are 7 until 8:30, he said. "Goodness, it looks clean in here. I didn't bath Robin, just washed his face and hands. He's asleep already." Scandalised, the little girls spoke together. "But Robin always has a bath." "Annie always does him all over. He needs a bath. Mummy says we must have a bath before bed. Robin won't like it when he wakes up and he finds he's all dirty still." "He won't wake up," said their father shortly. "We'll give him an extra long one tomorrow. Promised Miriam, setting the kettle to the boil as it's Christmas Eve. When Lovell had drunk his coffee and departed, carrying Miriam's bouquet and some magazines for Eileen, she took the girls up to the bathroom and bribed them into the steaming bath with one of her precious bath cubes. "I'll come back in 10 minutes to see if you are all really clean," she told them, and left them to their own devices while she unpacked her case. Later, scrubbed and sweet-smelling in their flowered nightgowns, they held up their arms for a good-night kiss, and Miriam admitted to herself that just now and again, for very brief periods, children could be very winning. She descended the long staircase, feeling 100 years old. Fairacre and Holly Lodge seemed light years away. This reminded her that she had promised to ring Joan. But not before she revived herself with coffee, she told herself, making for the kitchen. Peremptory barking greeted her. Copper stood pointedly by his empty plate. Amazingly enough, Miriam told him, I know where your supper is. She tipped out the remains of a tin of dog food she had noticed in the larder, and Copper wolfed it down with relish. He accompanied her to the fireside when she sank into her armchair with a cup of coffee and attempted climb on her lap. Some other time, Copper, old boy, said Miriam faintly, fending him off. It's as much as I can do to support myself. She lay back and listened to the little domestic sounds of the old house. The fire whispered, a log shifted, as at its heart the dog snored gently after his meal. Outside, the wind stirred the trees, and somewhere in a distant door banged as the breeze caught it. Gradually, the peace that surrounded her took effect. It had been a long day, and tomorrow would be even a harder one. But meanwhile, the children slept as soundly as the dog on the rug at her feet, and the night enfolded the quiet house. When Lovell returned, he found his sister fast asleep in the armchair. Okay, so we're on chapter 6 and page 65 next. Let's put my other glasses on. Where did I put them? Okay, did I put them back in that box? There they are. I thought I put them on my head. I've done that before. There we go. So, as you know, I'm going to finish off my Christmas shopping tomorrow with Abby. So, I'm not sure if I'll get to do my advents in the morning, depending on the time. If not, it will be when I get back in the afternoon. So, I hope you've enjoyed the continuation of the story, and I hope you've enjoyed my advent today. So, for now, take care. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the morning.